they're wearing polyester. They'll never mildew. The fibers in polyester don't mildew. Isn't that interesting to know? Sir, we could take out our old leisure suits and go disco dancing. We won't mildew either. All right, anybody got any questions? Because we're on the home stretch. You have a question?
Any ghosts down here?
Any ghosts? Did you check under your seat?
No.
Serious?
No, there's no ghosts down there. There are shadow people.
Ghosts.
Do you believe that? I'll tell you a story. You want to hear it?
Yeah.
All right. Before we started up the tram tour again this year, we removed all the Christmas lights. They allowed me this year to put in this little 4x8 pallet. It's because we get water that overflows from the pond over here. So, in the wet season, it gets really bad footing. Matter of fact, it's really moist in here today. So anyway, I'm putting this on. I'm screwing this pallet into here. And I felt something in the back of my neck. That mannequin over there was whistling. I'm kidding. There's nobody down here except us. It could get scary though if you were working in the dark with a flashlight though, couldn't it? A lot of people say, why did you do a Halloween light show? We wouldn't need any lights. All right, we're gonna go around the corner, talk about roof boats, ponds and lakes, and ambulances, because you're gonna see an old ambulance right in front of you. Any other questions before we go? Because we're rounding third and we're heading for home. You know, there's no place like home. Did you know that you're actually under a baseball field off the Waterson Expressway? You're under home plate, 106 feet underground, above your head. That's how far down you are. Okay, home stretch, here we go. But you're okay, just a little bit, right? Gotcha. I'll tell you, this area for the light show, we don't go back here. You couldn't get a tour bus back here, plus we had to go up that hill. So basically we just unplug all this stuff from October 31st and replug it in about January 26th when we start back up the tram tours. All right, Woody's going to tell you about the pond here to your left, and I'll accent it with a light if it still works.
Remember how I said that every cave or cavern has a problem with water? This is how we manage the water in this cavern. Coming up on your left now is one of the 3 underground ponds. Once the water in this pond gets too full, the extra water is directed to a path that takes the water to the entrance of the cavern, where there is a pump that will pump the water outside. Once outside, the water will warm up to outside temperatures in the parking lot pond before being pumped into Beargrass Creek. There are also 2 ponds of water on the other side of the cavern that serve the exact same function. We pump 50,000 gallons of water out of here each and every day. We don't worry about flooding because this cavern is above normal flood stage levels for the Ohio River. The only time this cavern flooded was during the Great Flood of 1937. Look above your head now and you will notice some more roof bolts in this area. The miners weakened the strata too much in this area, and we had to have them come back into the cavern to help us remove a layer of strata and then install some roof bolts so we wouldn't have to worry about the ceiling falling down. The ceiling surface you see above us is the actual bottom of an ocean floor that created the rock. When you separate 2 layers of strata, you do separate 2 oceans, leaving behind an impression of the bottom of the ocean floor.
And to your right is the ambulance, and it does fit in with the Cold War of the 50s and 60s. We just decorated it with a wonderful looking mannequin to hopefully make this more enjoyable than it ever could have been. But the first time I saw that creepy face of that mannequin, it reminded me of the singer Justin Bieber. He's getting treated for his own fatal disease, Bieber fever. Don't catch it. All right, hey, you go to a baseball game. What's the one thing you always eat at a baseball game, gang? Look to your left. It's a giant Oscar Mayer wiener on the wall. How about that? And that's just caused by mood lighting, just accenting a piece of limestone, and, you know, it looks like a giant hot dog. All right. You might wonder how I'm driving so well in the dark. Oh, I have a little bit of help. Yeah, I got a lot of help. I've got black light on the Jeep's bumper. It lights up traffic cones we dip in a special paint and under black lighting. I can see exactly where the cones are and I know exactly where to go. So we're going to go up a small hill and we're going to talk about the wonderful world of fossils.
We are now going to be going up a small hill that will get us closer to the ceiling, so maybe you can spot some fossils from the seashells or sea creatures that used to live in this area. If you go on the zipline tour, ask the guide to show you some of the fossils that they have discovered in the ceiling.
Yeah, right here where it says bottom of the sea, if you look straight up to the left, you'll see what looks like a giant serpent head made out of limestone with a hole in where the mouth area is. Actually, that's called an over-drill hole. That's literally what it is they over-drilled it. They made it too big a hole, they can't use it to put dynamite in. There's about 6 more of those holes on the wall here to your left. The darker rock coming through limestone isn't really a rock, it's a mineral called bernacite. It's just bleeding through limestone. All right, for you youngsters, did you see the number on the pillar there to your left? Pick a number between 18 and 20. Anybody?
18.
You know what you get to do now?
What?
The Louisville Mega Cavern Underground roller coaster ride. I'm going to gun the engine and we're going to get up to an incredible speed of 4 miles an hour.
Let's go.
So at the count of 3, if everybody wants to yell, "Whee!" I bet you 58 people can make a lot of noise. Are we ready? 1, 2, 3, let me hear you. That was really good. And guess what? I lied. We get up to 7 miles an hour. Okay.
He's 40.
This is not 4 miles an hour.
Pillar 19 to your left is now one of the oldest and largest pillars that we have in the underground. If you had to walk around it, you would exceed the safety distance to the emergency corridor to your right. In order to ensure the safety distance, we created a hole in the middle of it. We could not use dynamite to create that hole because the owners do not have mining rights. So we just had to make the hole with hammers and chisels, just like John Henry.
Urban legend, right up there with Betty Crocker. Now, here to your left, gang, you see the orange-colored rusty stuff we looked at earlier? That was the goat type. This looks right in the middle of the goat type where my pointer is. Looks like a giant lion's face.
It does.
And above our head, straight ahead here, you're going to see a pipe suspended from the ceiling. That's for a future warehouse. That's a pipe that's going to control bacteria, mold, and mildew, unless, of course, you wear polyester.
So what would you do with a big hole in the ground? This is the same question the owners were faced with after purchasing the cavern. One idea was to fill it back up with used car and truck tires. These tires would then be chopped into little pieces and sold off to energy plants to use in place of burning coal in order to create energy. A used rubber tire will burn hotter and better than coal will burn. The Louisville